Good morning, my Appa are back. Here's the plan. Build day 37. A lot of catching up to do. A lot of work planned all around the site today. And you get to meet the new security detail. What could possibly go wrong? So we'll start with the house. Backfill, mostly complete. Not quite there. The diggerator, once again, has failed us. About the last day and a half, apparently. The alternator's gone, and they're waiting for a replacement. But compared to where we left it, most of the backfill is in. There's just a section over at the far side there, not quite up to height. Not only that, but they've now started digging out the channels and laying conduit and piping. And I'll come back and talk about the different piping and conduit that's being used in a little bit. The electrician apparently did come in yesterday or the day before and started marking out what he needs to do. And it's a key part of this before the slab is poured to make sure you've gone over your plans as thoroughly as you can so that you're allowing for all of the electrical outlets you need, particularly any that are being laid in the middle of a room, which will be the case here, just round about at the edge of this pile of gravel, where we will have outlets in the living room which are not coming from the wall but come up kind of next to or underneath things like coffee tables. Ethernet is the other big one. We are putting in a lot of Ethernet conduit, a lot of Ethernet cable to allow us to run security equipment mostly on the exterior of the house, but we need to have all those points laid out before the slab is done. We will be using power over Ethernet devices quite extensively for security, so generally speaking, on pretty much any corner or side of the house we will intend to have power over Ethernet cameras. Not sure yet about how the lighting will work. That may not require power over Ethernet, but we'll see. But again, it needs to be, you need to have access to Ethernet conduit, and you need to have access to electrical to make sure that all of these devices are running and are not dependent on Wi-Fi. Nothing wrong with Wi-Fi, but if you can get Ethernet cabling laid in, it's going to be a faster signal, a stronger signal, and it will ensure that everywhere is reached. Whereas a Wi-Fi signal is going to get bounced off of internal walls and is not going to be quite as extensive. So spend as much time as you can on planning that conduit before your slab is poured. I'm pretty sure we'll still have missed something, but we've tried to give it quite a bit of thought. And I'll come back shortly and talk about these different pipes, different conduits that they're using. This is looking kind of west. So when we left, this wall, I think, only extended a couple of sections. So we now go almost to the edge of our property. We've got one more section of wall to add here, and then it takes a 90-degree right turn and goes off down this side of the other building on the property, which you can't quite make out, but trust me, it's just over there. So here in the pump room, we're fully up to height. We're waiting for the beams to go on top and the columns, the top half of the columns, to be poured, and then the concrete slab roof will go on. So there's been a lot of progress here, and there's a lot more to come probably later today. At the carport stroke storage area, for people that are returning and have watched previous videos, this is almost certainly where you might spot the biggest difference
we have a slab poured. I did get some photos and some videos sent to me by the builder as they were doing it, and they did appear to have put down the required gravel level before they poured it, which is 5mm. And then they had rebar in a 50cm grid all across the floor, and that was 12mm rebar. So this got done, I would say, about 4 days ago, and they have started building the storage room walls. In fact, they've almost finished building the storage room walls. I believe concrete hollow block will be the focus here again today. So again, we'll watch as that progresses. And this is the north wall, which is now all the way along, right back past the carport. It is fully up to height, which it was not before. They poured most of the beams. I think this one is the last one, which they've held off until they get back around to doing the column here. Plus, we're now starting to extend to where our front wall will be, and we are going to be set back quite a long way from the actual front of the property to allow us to do something in between our perimeter wall and the road. Maybe talk about that another time. But we're also now starting to get this front wall going into place. And here from the road, looking at the south wall, this has had a ton of development here. So we're very, very close now to the edge of the property. We have all the way back up past the crappy old knockdown building. We're going to see the other side so you can see how far that's progressed as well. Continuing the south wall, we've gone higher. We've got columns a lot more of the way down the wall, and we're right up to where the other house is, at least partially. And we'll go and have a look further down so you can get a slightly closer look at the progress there. So this is also all new development since we were away. Started digging out the trench down to this point. Soon they're going to have to negotiate some other things they're going to have to remove, including at the back there, if you can make it out, there is a basketball court, and the edge of that is all going to have to be chipped out because it's in the way of the wall. And here's a little clue, just a taster of the new security detail. I'm not going to show you yet, you've got to wait. So here you can make out some of the different piping and conduit that's being used. There's various different sizes here, and I'll quickly whip through what they are. So we've got 2-inch UPVC, and it's all the ones I'm going to mention are what they define as orange, which is a more durable material apparently. So the 2-inch will be used for things like kitchen sinks, floor drains and shower drains. 4-inch will be used for the water closets, the toilets. 3-inch will be for downspouts from the roof. 6-inch for drainage, and 1.5-inch for electrical conduit. And then we have 1.5-inch PPR as well, which will be used for the incoming water lines. So that's what they're using here. Well, let me know in the comments if any of those things don't sound right to you. And this is some of the electrical conduit. I've obviously bent some of this to shape already. And as far as I can tell, all of the conduit they're using is from Neltex, which I believe are one of the two primary suppliers, manufacturers in the Philippines. Seem to have a pretty good reputation. And while we're still in catch-up mode, this is the side project of charcoal. And I'm told we are within
probably 2 days of this all being completed. And it turns out that Marlon, who's been doing this project for us, came to our small, properly socially distanced birthday party for my beautiful Asawa. Turns out he is a demon on the dance floor. We didn't film it, but take my word for it, he's amazing. So it's just after lunch. This is back on the south wall again, and we've got tie beams in up to this point, columns in place to the same point, and concrete is starting to go in for the beams. Back in the pump room, forms being put in place for basically the beam across the top. I'm not sure if that has a separate name. So they're getting ready to pour that concrete. I'm not sure that will happen today. We'll wait and see. Inside the house, more and more conduit going in place. Trenches being dug out and then conduit being put down. There will be a lot, I imagine, by the time this is finished. Not sure how long that's going to take to do all of it, but it won't be today, that's for sure. No, I'm not filming this, except they can't get the cable, the conduit separated. No, we won't film that. Or will we? We might. So in the carport, yep, new walls on the exterior on this side. And back over on the storage room, we've gone higher on that wall and we're starting to get the outlines of a door frame. Right, I'm not sure how clear the audio was this morning or how clear it will be now with the mixer going, but again, we're starting to get the beginnings of the wall. It is not at the front of the property, it's set back, so that later on we might try and do something a little bit commercial on the outside of that wall between that and the road. But that wall is starting to go in. So we've got a diggerator doctor giving us the thumbs up.
specialist doctor, boss.
Is it going to work?
Already done.
Already done? Oh, he's confident.
Yes. Because I have a voltmeter.
It's running. The question is, for how long? Back here on the slightly more westerly end of the south-facing wall, we're going up and we're going along. I think there's 4 new sections have been put in today, judging by the state of the concrete. We're not up to height. Just a reminder, we'll be at 2.6 meters on this side, and then on top of that we will have additional protection, I guess, which will take us up roughly another half a meter to a meter. All right, we won't keep you in suspense anymore. Here they are, the new security detail. Just puppies, but these are 2 of the 3 dogs that we will have, which will be trained as guard dogs. Have a bit of obedience training first, but that's what they will become. So, burglars beware. They are, if anybody wants to know, they are German Malinois, which is very similar to an Alsatian breed. And we've also got a Doberman coming. So, if you're not invited, don't come in. That'll be my advice. Well, it looks like the Diggerator Doctor has indeed supplied a life-saving alternator transplant. And Manny's back to where I'm pretty sure he's happiest, whizzing around carrying dirt. So, the bell's gone, 4:30, day's done. We're starting over here on the south-facing wall, and they have, as you might be able to make out in there, they've poured concrete over the tie beams, going back down that way. And a little bit further down there, they were still building up the wall. It's about 9 blocks high at the moment. And in the pump room, we've got forms. Almost complete, not quite. All around the top. So a little bit more work to do on those tomorrow. Getting close to pouring that concrete for that beam. And inside the house, when Manny got his Diggerator back, they've done an extra bit of backfill here. So we're only left with this corner that needs to be brought up to height. And back over this way, as you saw earlier, lots of conduit going in. Some of it has now even been covered up. So quite a bit more progress with getting conduit stroke piping in the ground. More of that tomorrow. And here at the front, these sections are all new today, and they have got concrete poured for the tie beams to take us a little bit further tomorrow. So this is all freshly poured. So, as has happened before, the end of the day, but not quite the end of the day. I think a couple of them, Manny included, are going to crack on for a little bit longer. Typically when they do overtime it goes on till about 6. But it's only a very few of them. I think only 3 or 4 are going to stay and do it tonight. But for the rest, that's the day done. For us, that's the day done. Slightly longer video, inevitably given the amount of catch-up and the little bit of drone that we threw in there as well. So we'll see you tomorrow.